Um, it's a lot. I'm a lot more comfortable in it. It's like a whirlwind. Thinking back through the first year, you know, people ask you like, "Oh, do you have?" Was it like, you know, drinking through a fire hose? And oh no, it's great, it's great. But then when you actually think back of it, it's drinking through a fire hose. It is. I mean, everything's coming at you fast. They're coming at you from all ends and in all directions. So this year, we're in the routine. The organization, our player personnel department knows the routine. The coaches have been through it once already, so everyone's familiar with the process. And so, it's a lot. We're in the groove now. Yeah, that was Elijah was a big one for us. Obviously we loved what he did once we got him over to LA, and you know, the flexibility and the versatility he offers and what it allows our defense to do. We played a lot of three safeties last year, and so that allows us to stay with what we found successful last year and lets Derwin be Derwin, and so that was a huge, re-signing extension for us. So we're very happy that got done. Yeah. Yeah, it is a deep running back class in my opinion, and I think that's a lot of people's opinions. In terms of traits, competitiveness with the Chargers, that's the number one trait. What type of competitor he is, what type of teammate they are off the field, and character. But when you look at a guy that can run the ball, obviously you love versatility. There's some backs that are guys that are just going to tote the rock. There's other guys that offer a little bit more in the passing game. So all backs are different, So you want them to be able to pass protect. Some are better at that than others, and but as a group, it is a pretty talented group. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's one, right? Um, to define close, not close, I'm not sure if I'd put a close on any of them, but conversations are being had with all of them, and you know, I'm with Coach. I loved our group of guys last year. It was a special team. It was great to be a part of, and you felt it out there, and you guys saw them out there. Those of you that were in LA with us, and it really was a lot of fun. And yeah, ideally we'd love to bring them all back. Is that realistic? I don't know if it is. Coach doesn't know if it is, but we're going to try. With it, with okay, yeah, yeah, I love comp picks. Yeah, great question. You know, I think you balance. You do. If you lose somebody, you say, okay, what's that going to get us back? And you can make a decision based off of that. There's other ways to add players. If it's a cap casualty or not a UFA, so you can play that game. But I think the main goal is always to build the best team we can possibly build. Yes, you want to acquire comp picks, but you really do that when you just have a really deep team that continually replenishes itself, and we're still building towards that. So is every year going to deliver 3 or 4 comp picks? I can't guarantee that, and I would never guarantee that. But I don't think you let it play too much of an impact in your decision making. Oh, by the Ravens? Oh, a lot. I mean, I lived there for 26 years. I watched Ozzie do it and master it, and I saw the benefits of it. So I believe it's free picks, and it's a way to build depth on your roster, and you end up hitting. You get starters, you get great backups. So it definitely is something that I found to be very valuable for us the way we did in Baltimore, and hopefully it's going to be valuable for us going forward in LA. Familiarity. He's a great dude. I've only known him for a week, or maybe a little over it, but he's been awesome, and he's a grinder, and it gives you an outside perspective, a fresh outside perspective. The other thing he's going to bring is, he's going to be familiar with this year's draft class. So we can mine him. Obviously, we know the Michigan players, but he's played against a lot of players in college. He's coached against a lot of players in college, so we can mine him for what his opinion is on those players. Oh, just that he'd be a great ad for us, and thought what he thought of him, how he hired him, when he hired him, and the job he did there at Michigan. So we were excited to get him. Oh man, I mean, it's just a great division. I mean, and you look at, obviously you got the Chiefs, right? And that's who we're all chasing. They've been the kings of the division for a long time now. And but there's a lot of talent in the division. There's a lot of great coaching. Vegas just added Pete. And so a tremendous amount of respect for all the coaches in our division and the teams themselves. And a lot of I know a lot of the GMs, and they do things the right way. So it's great. We get to compete against each other and try to get to the top. Yeah, I think they just Andy does a great job. I mean, I've been a fan of his since he was the head coach of Philly. Grew up in Philly, and so he just does a great job team building, and his coaching staff is excellent, and they do a great job of finding pieces that fit, and then tailoring their schemes around the players that they do have. I'm excited. I've never been to Brazil. I've only, in terms of outside the country, British Virgin Islands and Turks and Caicos and 2 London trips. So I'm excited. My family's excited. It's great. We're in a standalone game, kick off the season Friday night. So it's awesome that we're selected for it, and looking forward to it. No, I'm not. And honestly, those are things that really don't fall on my radar. But I know last year there was some questions on it, but I know they've improved the surface. Yeah, we've started talking about that. When we had hints that we may be going to Brazil, we started talking about that. Still in the process of exploring the best options, when to leave. It's I think a 14-hour flight, I believe. I think it's 4 time zones. So, it'll be a little challenge navigating it, but I think we'll have a good plan for it. Yeah, it's a big week that way because you get a lot of face to face with the agents of our players. So all those 26 UFAs, we get a chance to meet with a lot of their agents while we're here. And even if we've had discussions, we can just sit down and continue the discussions. So yeah, you get some work done. You get a feel for where they're at. If we don't already have that feel, but it's continued dialogue. From the UFA standpoint. I didn't hear a whole lot of the question. I know you said offensive line. So I never think a position is solidified other than quarterback, And even with quarterback, you better have, depth behind him, right? So no, I would never say any position on our team is solidified because it's every year is different, and so that won't preclude us from taking an offensive lineman, because there's 3 first-round picks on the offensive line, But we're going to take the best player available when it comes to drafting. Purposeful. It's the way it's stacked, and when you get a guy, when 2 players are level, even, same grade, you start weighing what they have. So, okay, he's a 4-year starter. He's a 3-year starter. Great leader, team captain. Those little things give him a bump. So I think it's not intentional, but it's thought through and discussed, and then it just played itself out that way. I think, yeah. If I think I heard your question is as it's changed, the game's changed. Do you prioritize other different positions differently? You do and you don't. I think certainly there's evaluation to every position, and some positions make more than others, so they may carry a little bit more value. But that you don't push a player up the board because the value has more. There's more value for that position. So you still want to take the best players available, and but you do pay attention a little bit to value. Nothing I can think of.
When considering taking a tight end high in the draft, how important is it for them to be impactful in the run game as well as being a dynamic pass catcher?
Yeah, I mean, you want a complete tight end if you take a tight end high in the draft, right? I mean, like, yeah, you want the weapon, but you want someone you can get out there. Otherwise, they're one-dimensional. So you take a player high, you want someone who can help in all facets of the game. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. And yeah, I've been afforded that opportunity many years over my career, but there's been some years where we didn't have one, and it's a little stressful, and yeah, I mean, it's been a while because we went from Joe to Lamar in Baltimore, and then I come to Justin, so it's like, but I do remember the days where it's like, okay, we need to address the quarterback situation, and it would be it'd be a stressful thing, and you got to have a quarterback in this league to be consistently successful. Oh yeah, so I mean, Ladd, love him. Just a special competitor, great dude, great teammate, and certainly what he did this year was awesome to see. And then with Kirby, I've known Kirby probably, I don't know, 27 years, 29 years, really since I got into coaching and working at Auburn, and watched him grow as a coach. And Georgia's just a special place. What he's established there, I mean, develops pros. It creates toughness, creates competitiveness. I talk about like depth on our team. You want to create a competitive culture. He's got that, and just a special place, great place. I mean, I went to Auburn, but Athens is probably my second favorite SEC town and environment. So he's got a good thing going there.
Joe, the number of small school players invited to the combine has been declining since the transfer rules changed. There's only 7 FCS players here this week. Does that matter to you as a general manager? Is that something you can jump on, and what does that mean overall?
We're out there looking, and we're in all those small schools, and I think it might be a cyclical thing, and FCS schools, yeah, now with the transfer portal, they're going to get more opportunities, and that's a great opportunity for them. And now, obviously, it hurts some of the schools they're transferring out of, but yeah, I think that will be a common theme going forward because schools can go out there and acquire players that want to move up and go to a higher level of competition. Listen, the Chiefs are a great team, and the Eagles beat them on that day. And I've been a part of some great teams that didn't always win the game. And so Chiefs do a great job, and they're a well-rounded team. And I think the Eagles had a better team that day. Yeah, that's a good question. And there's probably different cases when you're like, hey, this guy could help Justin. Hey, Justin will really help unlock this player. I mean, you look at Ladd's a good example. Ladd caught more balls last year than he's ever caught in his career at Georgia. He got more opportunities, and but I think Justin's the type of quarterback, to answer your question ultimately, that makes other players better. And so that's what we believe we have in him, and that's how we select players. We select every player, regardless of the position, with the idea that Justin will help this guy level up. We evaluate them the same way. We go into the schools, our scouts go into the schools, we talk to the staff that's currently there, get the background, we build a profile on them, coaches evaluate them, and yes, there's some coaches on our staff that are evaluating guys they've coached, but they're also going to slot them in where they believe they belong. And so there's an influence of knowledge about the player that they may have more of that player than another player that they don't know. But we rank the players based on the player they are, the athlete they are, the talent they show on film. One more time. Yeah, philosophically, I believe in building through the draft. Now obviously, you have to spend money in free agency. You spend money on your own players. We have 26 players that are still unrestricted free agents, so we have an opportunity to re-sign as many as them first, and then attack free agency as it happens. And you use free agency to fill out your roster, to supplement your roster, to go get something you need. But the two play hand in hand. But I think you don't make decisions in free agency and then plan to make, adjust accordingly in the draft. You want to be able to draft the best player available and help the team, because the draft is a 4 or 5 year solution when you pick a player. So free agency is not always that. Last year we signed a bunch of 1 year deals, and so some deals aren't as long. So stay draft centric and use free agency to build around it.